Live from WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
Daily storm chances continue across the area. I'll show you who's under a severe threat for today coming up.
State of emergency. Governor Josh Stein issues a declaration for 13 counties caused by Chantal. How this will speed up long-term recovery efforts.
Stay vigilant. That's the message from Raleigh police following a string of vehicle break-ins. Why officers believe thieves are targeting certain vehicles.
With breaking news this noon, Governor Josh Stein has issued a state of emergency for 13 counties in the wake of flooding caused by Tropical Storm Chantal. Good afternoon to you. I'm Jeff Hogan.
And I'm Renee Chu. Thanks for joining us. The declaration frees up state and federal recovery money for assistance. We have team coverage on efforts to rebuild following Chantal. We begin with meteorologist Amy Wilmoth in the WRAL Severe Weather Center because more rain is on the way. Amy.
That's right. Thankfully, right now it is dry. At this point yesterday, we had some storms in our southern counties, but it's dry for now. But I do expect some storms to develop in our area later this afternoon and this evening, and some could be severe with the potential for some strong damaging winds, similar to what we saw yesterday in the Sanford area in Lee County. It's the northern part of our viewing area under the level 1 out of 5 severe risk today. Hillsborough is included in this. It's north of Chapel Hill. It's north of downtown Durham. Roxborough included in this. Oxford, Henderson, South Hill, Virginia, all included in the level 1 severe threat for today. So let's talk about when these storms will likely start to develop. Around 2 o'clock, our storm chances go up to a 30% chance. That will continue through the 4 o'clock hour. And then during the evening commute, it's a 40% chance at 5, 6, and 7 o'clock this evening, and still a 30% chance at 8 and 9 o'clock tonight. Then we're back down to a 20% chance. We have storm chances today. We have storm chances tomorrow. So this is the hour by hour threat for tomorrow. The first half of the day is dry. We'll have some sunshine, but then we have a 50% chance for some showers and storms tomorrow afternoon and evening. And that could come along with some flooding as well. A medium risk for flooding in our northeastern counties. And we'll talk more about that coming up in about 15 minutes. But Pinehurst, the Resort and Country Club, lots of folks out there enduring the heat to get in a golf game perhaps before some of these storms start to develop. It's 87 right now in Raleigh. The feels like temperature 95. It already feels like 104 in Clinton, 100 in Goldsboro, 99 in Southern Pines. So not only do we have the storms to contend with, but we have some dangerous heat. I'll talk about when we could go under heat advisories coming up in just a little bit.
And back here in the WRAL Live Center, we're talking about that state of emergency declared by Governor Josh Stein for 13 counties. Here are the counties here on the map just to show you. This is to support long-term recovery efforts from flooding caused by Chantal. But the state of emergency, it covers Alamance, Caswell, Chatham, Davidson, Durham, Forsyth, Guilford, Lee, Moore, Orange, Person, Randolph, and Wake counties as well. Since July 5th, the state of emergency response team has been activated and providing resources and support. They've been offering bottled water deliveries, water sampling kits, also search and rescue teams, including swift water rescue. So that is something that we are keeping an eye on today. Something else that we also want to make note of is the Chatham County Sheriff's Office today is urging the public to avoid Jordan Lake for the time being. They're telling everybody do not go into the lake, no boating until conditions improve. They also want to remind everybody always wear a life jacket, only swim in those designated areas, and be mindful of any floating debris.
One of the areas heavily impacted by Chantal includes Chapel Hill, where damages are estimated at $26.5 million. This morning, Governor Stein issued a statement saying, in part, we must do everything we can do to support them as they get back on their feet. Kirsten Clark is the newest member of the WRAL News team. She joins us live from Chapel Hill. Kirsten, I know you grew up in Cary and you graduated from UNC, so you're very familiar with Chapel Hill. And now so many areas there are trying to recover from flooding.
Yes, Renee, very familiar with this area. I'm happy to be back home, excited to be here in my old stomping grounds. But let me tell you about where we are right now. So we're at Innovate Carolina Junction. So this space here in Chapel Hill, it's on East Rosemary Street. And it's a space for small businesses to offer usually spaces for programs, for meetings. But today's focus is on recovery efforts. So let me take you inside here where things are underway right now. These are small businesses set up here from Chapel Hill and from all over the state that are offering their service today to those that were devastated by the flooding from Chantal last week. Now let's go a little bit further. These businesses are offering a variety of different services, from legal services, as well as you have portable restrooms here, construction, simply anything that folks need to get back on their feet. Now, of course, we've been on the ground, WRAL, covering the devastation since the floodwaters rushed through from Chantal last week. We know Orange County is estimating more than $30 million in damage. Now, I spoke with sales manager Don Proctor here today from Piedmont Portables, who is here to try to help businesses to get back on their feet.
We can make it happen. I need an address. We're waiving our pickup and delivery charges and fuel surcharges that we normally charge. Generally speaking, I can make it happen tomorrow.
Now, in addition to Dawn that we spoke with and some of these other business owners that are here to help, we also spoke to business owners that were, again, devastated by those floods, just coming in to try to get whatever assistance that they can. Many of them say that this is just a start here today, but there is much more ahead of them, especially financially. So that state of emergency declared by Governor Stein today will at least help in getting those funds. So we'll make sure to stay tuned to that to see what happens with these businesses and more from this event today. Live in Chapel Hill, Kirsten Clark, WRAL.
Hillsborough town leaders now have an idea of the potential cost for Chantal recovery. Commissioners set aside more than $1 million to begin that process. In Hillsborough, Public Works is down 10 vehicles because of flooding at its facility. Town leaders say they are trying to restore essential services as soon as possible.
Raleigh police are sending out an alert for people to be more vigilant after a string of vehicle break-ins at churches. These hit churches like Our Lady of Lourdes, Highland United, Providence, Summit, and Holy Name of Jesus Cathedral. 31 vehicles were broken into at last count to Sunday during religious services at these 5 churches. Thieves getting away with 2 guns, several credit cards, and cash. And WRAL's Sean Gallagher is live at the cathedral right now. And Sean, did police share any type of information about what kind of vehicles the thieves are targeting?
Yeah, Jeff, they say there's been an uptick in pickup trucks being targeted. RPD telling me that thieves likely think there might be more of a chance of weapons being inside. Now, here behind me, you can see no cars are in the parking lot of the cathedral, but on a Sunday, a much different story, which would make it prime opportunity for thieves to strike. And even if nothing's visible in your car, there are other things RPD says they're looking for. And that's exactly what happened at Our Lady of Lourdes this weekend. Father Pat Kane showed a surveillance video of a pickup truck being broken into during services, where thieves got away with a handgun and $2,000 in cash. Father Pat tells me none of the vehicles broken into had anything visible, which is why RPD tells me you have to be extra vigilant about making sure your vehicle isn't a beacon for thieves.
Some stickers that are like SIG stickers promoting different types of weapon companies, those are going to be key for people to look at, or right to bear arms, stuff like that. So you want to be very careful on what you put on the outside of your car, because that's going to draw their attention for a criminal to say, oh yeah, that's definitely a car that's going to have a weapon.
And RPD says they're looking for a black Infiniti like the one you see in the surveillance video. If you have any information about that, you're asked to contact Crime Stoppers. And RPD is pushing people to follow through with what they're calling the 9 p.m. routine. That's just going out, making sure you don't have any valuables in your car, lock it up, and if you can, park it in a well-lit area. All of those tips should help you from becoming the next victim. In Raleigh, Sean Gallagher, WRAL News.
The U.S. Senate narrowly passed the spending cuts that were proposed by the Department of Government Efficiency and sent the package over to the House. The bill would slash $9 billion in federal funds that Congress had already approved. It would withdraw $1.1 billion from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, which helps to fund NPR and PBS. If that happens, over time, some local stations may be forced off the air, while other stations may have fewer shows to broadcast. The DOJ cuts must pass in the House by Friday.
Today, the Durham Fire Department is taking a step toward addressing an increased cancer risk among firefighters. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey explains how crews are exposed to cancer-causing chemicals and the new vehicle to help tackle that problem.
The Durham Fire Department will start using this new van for crews to go inside and change into clean gear after a fire. You may be able to even see some of that clean gear there in the passenger seat, but changing into this clean gear is critical to limiting their exposure to cancer-causing chemicals. WRAL Investigates has spent the past 7 years looking into cancer risk for firefighters. Cancer caused 66% of firefighter deaths from 2002 to 2019, according to the latest CDC data. Raleigh Fire added a new truck to their department last year. It was also designed to limit crews exposure. Durham Fire Chief Robert Zoldis explains how changing out of dirty gear can save lives.
This allows us to reduce one of the most sort of focus exposures they have, which is wearing the gear after the fire back to the station in a fire truck, which dirties the fire truck as well. If we can get rid of that one piece, we're going to be able to drop that exposure of our firefighters.
If you want to check out a full timeline of our coverage of cancer risk for firefighters, head to our website, WRAL.com. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News in Durham.
And back here in the WRAL Live Center, we have just learned that driver's license offices and license plate agencies that were affected by this morning's AT&T outage are now fully operational and serving customers once again. This was affected in western central and northwestern North Carolina. We are checking with DOT to see if the credit card processing system is back online. Offices were unable to process any credit card transactions. All offices, though, they say are accepting cash as an alternative form of payment right now.
Next at noon, slamming his supporters. What Donald Trump is saying about his own backers, asking for more information on the Jeffrey Epstein case.
Also, a professor murdered, and now the arrest made in the death of a California teacher killed outside his ex-wife's home.
Plus, voter registration, the effort to make sure 100,000 North Carolina voters do not get their ballots thrown out.
Coming up next, see storms moving in with WRAL's exclusive Dual Doppler 5000, sponsored by the WRAL Weather app. Download now for live radar.
Now to the deepening divide within the Republican Party. President Trump attacking some of his own supporters, calling them weak. He also told them to move on from the investigation into sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. NBC's Gabe Gutierrez reports on the growing calls to release those files.
This morning, growing Republican backlash.
The Epstein files need to be released.
President Trump lashing out at some of his own supporters over their demands for more information about the late convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein.
It's all been a big hoax. It's perpetrated by the Democrats, and some stupid Republicans and foolish Republicans fall into the net.
The president on social media also arguing his, quote, past supporters have bought into this BS hook, line, and sinker, calling them weaklings, prompting rare defiance from some allies in the MAGA movement.
If you talk about this, I'm going to excommunicate you. Well, you're not the Pope, bro.
The controversy even getting pop culture attention, prompting a joke from comedian Shane Gillis at the ESPY Awards.
Actually, there was supposed to be an Epstein joke here, but as it got deleted.
Influential podcaster Charlie Kirk, a Trump supporter, trying to reassure the MAGA ranks.
Don't get too fired up about the Truth Social and President Trump ranting and venting about this.
And pleading with Trump.
Mr. President, the emphasis on Epstein is truly the best intentions of your most loyal followers.
But in another interview yesterday, Trump again criticizing those speaking out.
It's a disgrace, and I remember every one of these guys. They're my supporters.
The split between the president and some in his base appears to be, at least partially, of his own making, after he and his allies suggested during the 2024 campaign that they were in favor of more Epstein disclosures.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
All right.
I guess I would.
We need to release the Epstein list. That is an important thing.
The president still says he's standing by his Attorney General, Pam Bondi.
She says, I gave you all the credible information, and if she finds any more credible information, she'll give that too. What more can she do than that?
That was Gabe Gutierrez reporting. As the Jeffrey Epstein story grabs headlines, a Manhattan federal prosecutor who worked on Epstein's case has been fired. Maureen Comey was fired yesterday. The reason why was not released. Comey is the daughter of former FBI Director James Comey, who was fired by President Trump during his first term.
A U.S. Army veteran says he was pepper sprayed, gassed, and dragged out of his car at gunpoint by ICE agents during a raid at a California marijuana farm last week. George Rates is an American citizen who served in Iraq, and he works as a security guard at Glass House Farms. The 25-year-old was caught up in the raid even after telling agents he was a citizen. Rates was held in federal custody for 3 days without charges. He says he wasn't given medical care, nor was he allowed to contact anyone, including a lawyer.
It doesn't matter if you're an immigrant. It doesn't matter the color of your skin. It doesn't matter if you voted left. It doesn't matter if you voted right. It doesn't matter if you're black, brown, yellow, green. No one deserves to be treated this way. It shouldn't have happened, and I hope this never happens to anyone ever again.
He says he missed his daughter's 3rd birthday while he was detained, and he plans to sue the federal government.
5 people charged in connection with the murder of UC Berkeley professor Przemysław Jaworski are due in court today. The suspects include the professor's ex-wife and her current partner. PJ, as the professor was known on campus, was beloved by his students. He was shot to death on July 4th near Athens, Greece, outside his ex-wife's home. PJ was there for a custody hearing for his twin daughters. Eyewitnesses told police a man walked up to the victim and fired about 6 shots and ran away from the scene. Following his mother's footsteps, Prince Harry retraced the path his mother, Princess Diana, took down a minefield in Angola. The Duke of Sussex met with the country's president to discuss efforts to continue removing mines. Soldiers littered villages and towns with the explosive devices in the bloody fight for independence from Portugal and the ensuing civil war from 1975 to 2002.
A doorbell camera captured an extremely close call for a delivery driver in New Jersey. I guess that would get your attention. Yeah, a lightning strike nearly hit that delivery man in Wayne, New Jersey, as severe storms rolled through that area. The video captured that roaring thunder and the driver's stunned reaction. Thankfully, no one was hurt. It looks like he hung in there and made the delivery, too. Good for him. Now, Amy Wilmoth is over in the WRAL Severe Weather Center right now, checking out lightning strikes. They're everywhere nowadays.
That's right. And the storms that we've had in the last 24 hours, we've had a lot of lightning with these storms. They've also produced some heavy rain. But just in the last 24 hours, in this area you see here, had over 5,200 lightning strikes. So with any storms that develop over the next several days, plan for there to be frequent lightning. And if you hear thunder, you've got to get inside. North Carolina ranks number 2 in lightning casualties. So again, if you hear thunder, get inside. And once the storm passes, wait 20 to 30 minutes, and then it's safe to get back outside. We do have storm chances again today. We've had a lot of rain lately, so I think this comes as no surprise that we are drought-free across central North Carolina. That's the latest update that just came down this morning. We've had numerous days where we've had rain. This is rainfall at RDU for the month of July. The green boxes, those are the days we've had rain. I think today, tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, we'll probably make those green boxes as well because rain chances will continue. We continue to have this southerly flow out of the south, and that's going to bring in moisture from the Gulf, moisture from the Atlantic, and then you get into the heating of the day and you get some storms to develop. We are monitoring this low pressure system. It's going to stay away from us, but bringing some very heavy rain to the Gulf Coast states. In fact, parts of Louisiana under a high risk for flooding today. We have a low end risk for flooding in our northwestern counties today. This afternoon, this evening, scattered showers and storms will be possible, and they could produce some heavy rain, frequent lightning, and gusty winds. This will continue into the evening commute, and then things settle down after sunset. It'll be quiet overnight tonight. And then Friday morning, we wake up to dry conditions, but then the afternoon, the evening, scattered showers and storms will be with us again. And tomorrow, we actually have a medium risk for flooding in the northeastern part of our viewing area, the Triangle, under a low end risk for flooding tomorrow. Outside right now, it's 87. We have some clouds hanging over downtown Raleigh right now, but the dew point's very high, so this is what it feels like. 95 in Raleigh. It feels like 100 in Clinton and in Goldsboro. It feels like 99 in Southern Pines, 97 in South Hill, Virginia. So very, very hot out there today, and the high heat, the high humidity is going to continue for a while. So I do think we'll have some heat advisories for the upcoming weekend. Today, the heat index up to about 103, so that's just under the heat advisory criteria, which is 105 and higher. Tomorrow, we'll probably go under a heat advisory, at least part of the viewing area. 97 for the high, 106 for the heat index, 105 for the heat index Saturday and Sunday, and still a heat index of 100 by Monday. So we not only have the afternoon and evening storms to deal with, but we also have some dangerous heat in the upcoming days, and that includes the entire weekend. Now, if you're done with the rain, if you're done with the heat backs off by Tuesday, and we also have some drier weather in the forecast Tuesday and Wednesday.
Ooh-wee. All right, July. Thanks, Amy. Focus on learning why ophthalmologists are encouraging parents to schedule early eye exams for children before they return to school.
Summer snacks. You may think snack bars sold for kids are more nutritious than cakes and cookies, right? But are they really? After the break, Consumer Reports examines the top brands to determine which are truly healthy.
Kids are home from school this summer. You may find yourself handing them more snack bars for something quick to eat. But how healthy are they? 5 on your side's Keely Arthur has the truth about snack bars.
Consumer Reports looked at 17 popular kid snacks to find out which ones are healthy and which ones just look like they are. Some were just okay, including Earth's Best Organic Sunny Days Strawberry Snack Bar. It had very few whole grains and a lot of added sugars. The first ingredient of Larabar Bake's Kids Chocolate Chip Cookie Bar is buckwheat, a whole grain. But of the 17 Consumer Reports tried, it's also the bar with the most added sugars.
Ideally, you want to look for a bar that's made with oats or another whole grain and contains few processed ingredients.
Like Sarabelli's Smart Bars Organic Sweet Potato Blueberry Banana or Junkless Chewy Chocolate Chip Granola Bar, which has a fairly simple ingredient list. And remember, you can always make your own snacks. There are tons of great recipes online, and that way you know exactly what's going into your child's food. Keely Arthur, 5 on your side.
Kelly also says you don't have to stick to those kid-specific bars. Depending on your child's calorie needs, you can consider breaking an adult bar in half.
The FDA plans to get rid of dozens of food regulations. The announcement comes after Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. plans to eliminate outdated standards. The move targets 52 FDA regulations for items including canned fruit, vegetables, dairy, and baked goods. The FDA's proposed cancellation also targets food safety, packaging, production, and labeling on products. Some critics say revoking certain standards may affect small businesses. President Trump says Coca-Cola is altering its recipe. The president says the company will replace high fructose corn syrup for real cane sugar in Coke in the U.S. The change will put it in line with other countries like Mexico and Australia. Coca-Cola has not commented on the reported change.
Voter registration repair, how the state plans to resolve a lawsuit filed by the Trump administration. Also,
first of its kind, a solar-powered car. And when you see it out on the roads, you're probably going to want to take a second look.
A day in the sun. A company is working on a vehicle that charges without taxing the electric grid. Take a ride in a solar-powered car. Look at that sleek ride when our news continues. Here's a look at the winning lottery numbers.
Shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your #1 source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
The State Board of Elections is launching a new effort to fix problems in the state voter database. More than 100,000 voters could have part of their next ballots thrown out if they don't supply the required information. WRAL Capitol Bureau Chief Laura Leslie is live at the State Board of Elections right now, where they just gave us an update. Laura, walk us through what you heard.
Sure, they're calling it the Registration Repair Project, and they unveiled a website today where you can check to see if your name is on the list of voters whose voting records need to be updated or whether you're just fine. They're also going to be sending out notices in the mail to people whose names are on that list. The issue stems from arguments made in a lawsuit filed by Jefferson Griffin after the last election. He was trying to throw out tens of thousands of ballots. He claimed they were potentially fraudulent because those voters' records were missing information in the state's voter database. The courts refused to throw out the ballots, and Griffin eventually conceded, but the Trump administration sued the state to make it fix the errors in the database. State Elections Director Sam Evans said today 194,000 voters were initially affected. Election staff were able to confirm that more than 90,000 of them had indeed shown the required documents at some point, but the other 103,000 voters will be required to vote a provisional ballot and could have some votes thrown out if they don't show a valid photo ID and fix their records by the next election.
I would strongly urge everyone who receives a mailing to respond and supply that information to just ensure that their process at the polls is seamless as possible.
Now, a new website we mentioned includes a publicly searchable list of 103,000 voters' names and addresses. You can type your name into it to search for it. If your name is not on the list, Evan says, your voter registration records are complete. You can find a link to that website in our story about this on WRAL.com. Also, those mail notices will start going out at the beginning of August. They will include a return address stamped envelope to make it easier for you to send back your information. Laura Leslie, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
And happening right now in the WRAL Live Center, the Trump administration is moving forward with plans to try and reopen Alcatraz to prisoners. This is a live look right now at Alcatraz. Attorney General Pam Bondi and Interior Secretary Doug Burgum are visiting the prison. We just saw them walking through Alcatraz there. President Trump announced these plans back in May. Now, legally, the Trump administration can't just reopen Alcatraz. The island is under the control of the Department of the Interior and is considered part of a national park, so a member of Congress would need to propose a bill to change that. Now, experts are estimating this could cost billions of dollars to bring this aging facility up to code. The government stopped using Alcatraz as a prison in 1963 because of how expensive it was to keep open and running.
U.S. strikes in Iran only destroyed one of the three targeted nuclear sites. That's according to those familiar with the new assessment. The other two were damaged, but only to a point where nuclear enrichment could resume in the next several months. NBC News has learned U.S. Central Command developed a more comprehensive plan that would have stretched for several weeks instead of that one night. President Trump was reportedly briefed on that plan and opted against it. Iraqi officials declared 3 days of mourning in solidarity with the families of victims of a mall fire. The inferno killed 69 people. 11 others are still missing. The initial cause of the massive fire is linked to the perfume and cosmetics floor, but a full investigation is underway. The 5-story mall opened last week.
More than 60 million Americans will soon be able to manage their Social Security accounts at any time, day or night. The Social Security Administration plans to offer 24/7 access on the My Social Security online portal. Until now, the online portal had experienced scheduled downtimes, limiting access for retirees and those trying to manage their benefits or documentation. This initiative is part of a larger overhaul at the SSA. It's aimed at addressing backlogs and those lengthy wait times. The U.S. is set to destroy 500 tons of food meant for starving people around the world. The high-energy biscuits have been sitting in a warehouse in Dubai for months. They are set to expire this month, which is why they'll be destroyed. And it will cost the government roughly $100,000 to burn those biscuits. The Trump administration dismantled the agency earlier this year, citing alleged waste and fraud. A former USAID official says prior to that action, personnel would keep track of expiration dates and then donate the food before it went bad.
California company behind a new solar-powered vehicle is close to beginning production. Aptera's CEO says if you drive that less than 30 miles per day, the vehicle will not need to be plugged in and it will not tax the electrical grid. Brooke Martell takes a ride in the first of its kind solar-powered car.
It looks like a spaceship out of a sci-fi movie.
Well, the vehicle looks more like a fish than a box.
Equating to 350 miles per gallon and driving on 3 wheels, the Aptera is powered by the sun.
The great thing about being solar powered is you're not taxing the grid every time you need to charge your EV. You just leave the Aptera outside. Every day it puts 40 more miles of power back in the tank. And if you only drive 30 miles a day, technically you would never have to plug your Aptera in.
Chris Anthony is the CEO of Aptera. He describes the build like a Formula One race car that is technically a motorcycle with its 3 wheels outside of the body and an aerodynamic design for more efficiency.
The solar on this vehicle only adds about 8 pounds of weight to the vehicle. It's very, very lightweight. And you would think that something that's so flexible is plastic, but it's actually glass.
Then there's the body of the car, made of carbon fiber and incredibly lightweight.
And it's made of only 6 parts. There's a tub, there's a roof spider, there's a cap, and there's 2 sides.
As California moves towards a goal of more electric vehicles on the road, Anthony says these sun-powered vehicles won't tax the grid, but align with California's clean air goals.
But Aptera is grid agnostic. It doesn't need to charge from the grid. You can just leave it outside. And when it does, it just takes a trickle of the power that a regular EV would.
That was Brooke Martell reporting. Aptera has over 50,000 reservations for people waiting to get behind the wheel. The company's crowdfunding has gathered over 20,000 investors and is working toward more production funding.
A solution to insomnia. Try yoga. How it can help improve the quantity and quality of your sleep.
Eye check needed. Why a vision test for your kids is just as important as the physical before heading back to school. And remember, you can watch WRAL News live anytime on WRAL.com or the WRAL app on your streaming device. Welcome back this noon as we give you this live look. Beautiful Beaufort. Renee, your boat's coming in. I see it there. It's on its way as you watch WRAL News. Available on Hulu and the WRAL app on your TV or streaming device.
Now's a good time to get your child in for an eye exam, especially since vision is so important for learning. Some children may not know if they are having problems with their vision. Experts say a child's vision may be declining when they squint while reading, tilt their head, or move closer to an object to get a better view.
When you come for a full eye exam with an eye doctor, typically you're getting dilated. That's the eye drops that make the pupils big and your vision blurry, but it allows us to see inside the eyes to make sure everything's healthy and also allows us to get an accurate glasses prescription.
It's important to schedule an eye exam for your children before school so they can focus on learning and be able to communicate with others right when school starts.
Increasing the number of steps you walk per minute could help reduce frailty. A new study suggests adding 14 steps per minute resulted in improved mobility and endurance in frail older adults. Researchers say this can help delay physical and cognitive decline. To achieve a higher walking cadence, a person can walk at their normal pace for 30 minutes, timing it with a metronome. Once a rhythm has been set, gradually speed up the pace by 5 or 10 steps per minute. Strike a pose for a good night's sleep. There is new research that reveals practicing yoga and other exercises like Tai Chi, walking, or jogging can help treat insomnia. Those who practiced yoga gained an average of 110 minutes per night of sleep compared to those who didn't. The study found that they also fell asleep about 30 minutes faster and woke up less frequently.
Record rain and dangerous roads, where people needed a boat instead of a car to navigate these roads.
Plus, big rock, big bucks. A piece of Mars breaks a record at auction. How much an anonymous bidder forked over for this Martian meteorite. Welcome back this noon. For years, the Wake County school system has put off needed funding for HVAC maintenance. Those systems have been breaking down during the school day, sending kids home. WRAL's Emily Walkenhorst and Destiny Patterson have been digging into this, what the district was spending its money on, and what they're going to do about it now. And Emily joins us now. You dug through a lot of school budgets. What did you find in this?
That's right, Jeff. So budgets for years have noted that the district wasn't spending enough on maintenance and operations. That includes HVAC. In 2024, the district was staffing at about 3/4 of what industry standards recommended, and that had been going down. That basically means there aren't enough people to handle the things that are breaking or to do the maintenance work that keeps them from breaking. They also just aren't replacing things when they need to be replaced.
Well, that sounds like a problem. You also found that the cost of HVAC is rising, as well as other costs out there going up for schools. What surprised you the most about that part of the subject?
So we get into much greater detail in the story, but the biggest eyebrow raiser to me was how much building and renovating schools costs now. It costs several times what it used to just 15 years ago. And that matters because buildings are a huge line item for schools and a big part of our property taxes.
The district, though, it isn't giving up on all these HVAC systems just because of the things costing so much. What did you ask them about how they're going to move forward in all this?
So we asked them about all of the things getting in their way, like the costs, like staffing issues. Our story gets into more specifics about how they're overcoming these challenges and incorporating feedback from students, parents, and teachers to find a way to make fixing HVAC issues a top priority.
I know it's going to be a lot to get into, and you have more on the way for us as well. You can see the full report on the HVAC challenges that schools are facing tonight on WRAL News at 6. Emily, thank you.
Drone video shows the moment a tornado formed over Sauk City, Wisconsin. Officials are on the ground assessing the damage today, but they warn that it could take until Monday to view all the areas affected. A large funnel cloud was spotted yesterday as it moved through the city. The twister caused serious damage on the ground as it touched down. The National Weather Service confirmed several tornadoes across Wisconsin as severe storms moved through that state. People in Kansas City, Missouri are bracing for more rain tonight as they deal with record rainfall. According to the National Weather Service, the daily rainfall record in the area more than doubled overnight. Kansas City received 2.78 inches of rain Wednesday, and that destroyed the old record of 1.35 inches set in 1968. Overnight storms caused numerous water rescues, power outages, and road closures. Forecasters say a few showers and thunderstorms are possible tonight. Of course, that's the pattern that we've been seeing all month long, and that, Amy, could lead to a record-setting July for us.
It could. We're already above our normal rainfall for the entire month. It's just the middle of the month. So we've had a lot of rain here. All across the country, we've seen flood events. We've had over 5 inches at RDU. That puts us over 2.5 inches above normal for the month. Over 3.5 inches in Fayetteville. That puts them at about an inch above normal. So not quite as much rain in some of our southern communities, but everybody's had some rain during the month of July, and we'll get some more today. Right now, the radar is pretty quiet. Watching some storms south of Roanoke, Virginia, that are moving to the south and east, but right now things are quiet in our area. It's about a 40% chance for storms through the day today, a 50% chance Friday, and a 50% chance on Saturday. So the rain chances will continue across the area. Look at the 7-day rainfall totals and just look at the areas that you see shaded in red or yellow. That's 4 to even 6 inches of rain just in the last 7 days. So we've had a lot of rain. The ground is pretty much totally saturated, and we do expect more rounds of rain in the coming days. This is a look at the potential through Saturday. It does look like the northern half of our viewing area would see the most rain, anywhere from about 1/2 inch to 1.5 inches, and then our southern counties about 1/4 inch of rain. But if you get under any of these storms that develop in the coming days, they could produce some very heavy rain. So we do have some flood risks to talk about. This is for today. It's a low end risk for the northern and northwestern part of our viewing area, a medium risk back toward western parts of North Carolina. Friday, that moves a little bit to the east, so it's our northern and northeastern counties under the medium risk for flooding, and it's a low end risk for the triangle area. So flooding a concern tomorrow. We're considering a weather alert day for tomorrow. Same thing for Saturday. We're considering an alert day for Saturday as well. A good part of the area, including all of the triangle, and that medium risk for flooding. Southern counties in that low end risk for flooding. So planning ahead for your weekend, we do have have storms in the forecast each day. It's a 50% chance on Saturday. Heavy rain that could lead to flooding will be possible. It will also be very hot, 95. I think we'll probably have a heat advisory as well, with a heat index near 106. And then late day storms possible Sunday. It's a 40% chance for storms. Heat index around 105 with an actual high temperature of 96. So it's going to be hot all weekend, and we have that threat for storms. Pretty quiet right now, just a little bit of cloud cover. It's currently 90 now in Raleigh. So out of the airport, the temperatures jumped a bit. 88 in Fuquay-Varina right now. The dew points are in the 70s, even 80s. It feels very uncomfortable outside. This is a look at what it feels like already. It feels like 104 in Holly Springs, 102 in Raleigh, feels like 104 in Wake Forest, and 102 in Chapel Hill. So the heat index today, we'll keep it in the triple digits for the next several hours, getting back into the upper 90s by 6 p.m. So it's very hot outside, and we'll be dodging storms. It stays pretty unsettled through the weekend, still a few spotty storms Monday, but we start to dry things out by Tuesday.
Amy, thanks for that. Martian meteorite. Look at this. The largest piece of the red planet found on Earth pulls in big bucks at auction. How the sale exceeded expectations.
Here's a look at the winning Powerball numbers. We have 4, 21, 43, 48, 49. The Powerball is 22. The multiplier is 2. We'll be right back. As we wrap things up, here's a look at a few of the headlines we're following today. A state of emergency has been declared for areas across North Carolina dealing with Chantal-related flooding. And this means areas like Chapel Hill, where damage is widespread, will have an opportunity to receive state and federal money to help with repairs. Now, earlier this week, Chapel Hill leaders said damage in their town alone is estimated to cost at least $26 million. Orange County, Wake, Durham, and Person are among 13 counties included in the state of emergency.
Police say 5 Raleigh churches were targeted in a string of vehicle break-ins. Officers say thieves broke into more than 30 vehicles during religious services Sunday. Police say they are looking at vehicles more likely to have weapons inside of them, with an uptick in pickup trucks being targeted. Officers say thieves got away with 2 guns, several credit cards, and cash. They're looking for a black Infiniti like the one you saw in that surveillance video. If you know anything about these crimes, contact Crime Stoppers.
This afternoon, Durham Fire is adding a new vehicle to their fleet to help reduce cancer risk for firefighters. The van provides a place where crews can change into clean gear. Wearing dirty gear is one of the most common ways firefighters are exposed to cancer-causing chemicals.
Today marks Disneyland's 70th anniversary, and what better way to celebrate than with a message from Walt Disney himself. Walt Disney, A Magical Life opens to the public today at Main Street Opera House. It has an animatronic founder right there, moving, speaking to the audience, all with a special twinkle in his eye. There's Walt. The project was 7 years in the making.
An out-of-this-world artifact sells for an astronomical price. The largest known piece of Mars on Earth sold for $5.3 million to an anonymous bidder, making it the most valuable meteorite ever sold at auction. And that surpassed the $2 million to $4 million estimate. This space rock weighs 54 pounds and was discovered in the Sahara Desert in 2023.
Pet of the daytime, check out Junie right here, coming to us from Hope Animal Rescue. You can learn more about Junie and apply to adopt her today.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air Channel 34 and Spectrum Channel 1257.